Hey everyone, Nathan Nerdarch here from Nerdarchy, for Nerds by Nerds. Today we're going to be talking about it's an Unearthed Arcana, Psionics, that came out, and with me I have
Ryan,
Dave,
I'm Ted.
So
all right, first impressions. We got seven pages here. A lot to devour.
Yeah, I really like I would have loved more levels than 5, but I'll take what I can get. So I really like the discipline split up where it has that you can select several different ones as you go along in levels, and they kind of give you like a little suite of abilities that you can select from.
so before that, you have orders. You have an order to choose from.
Yeah,
and you choose your order at first level, so
It's almost like a wizard sort of. Well, no, the wizards get theirs at second. Cleric domain.
It's like the
It's
cleric.
similar to the cleric domain.
yeah.
All right, so the thing that I look at with this is they go into the introduction and
Which a lot of people, who are newer to the hobby probably need a little bit of explanation of what psionics is. So it does that. It devours some pages doing that.
I tried to read it all so I can get a full grasp of what they're talking about. But the sentence that scares me is the mystic encapsulates a variety of characters who wield psionic power. So my interpretation of this is if you're going to use psionics, you're a mystic.
so it's the scary part.
I liked the diversification by having multiple classes in previous editions. The psionic.
And by previous editions, you mean 3rd and 4th edition, because I think Soul Knife and all that stuff really only existed circa 3rd edition.
Initially, you only had Scion.
Yeah,
correct.
So it kind of is going back to that, but I'm sure they'll expand the range.
So that's just that's where I weary a little bit.
But in all honesty, the way they build out the orders, you get everything at first level, so you don't have to wait for anything. And each order comes with its own suite of abilities. So it's almost like they just put the one class. If they do one class, they made it so open-ended that there isn't all that much that gets locked in.
There is that as a definite advantage, and with the 5 levels that we have to build with, with the 5 levels that they show you, it does really give a lot of building blocks to play with, because again, as you said, you get your order at first level. You get strength of the mind, which allows you to change what your proficiency is. So if you want to say, well, all right, I want my guy to be focused on strength, all right, you've got that strength proficiency, no problem, and you can lock that in every time you take a rest if you want.
Or change it based on what the challenges of the day will be.
Exactly. I like the fact that overall they've got a D8 as a hit die, so it is closer to your cleric-y, type person, so you're not dealing with that frail
Cleric, warlock, monk, all the sub-fighter classes kind of have that D8 anyway.
So that definitely fits. So, when you're playing a psychic warrior-esque feel, you're not going to be too far behind in the hit point pool. But if you're going to play the Scion, which is more attributed to the mage, you're actually ahead of the game. So there's definitely pros and cons with this approach. So I'm itching to see what else there's going to be. But of course this is, as they say, only a playtest.
Yeah, my only beef would be the skill proficiencies. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, through your order, they could change that up and give you more access to more, or give you more skill proficiencies. But as it is, if you wanted to play the psychic warrior type, you really have to take. I feel like you almost have to take the soldier background. In order to make it feel martial.
Athletics and intimidation.
Yeah. So, to make it feel more martial.
Right. But you get Arcana, history, insight, medicine, nature, perception, religion. Nothing that really talks to the
physical
aspect.
prowess sort of thing.
But perhaps maybe they'll take that and say, oh well, if you choose the Order of the Immortal, add intimidation or athletics.
I mean, especially because they go ahead and they give you a martial weapon and a shield. You may as well say, hey, you can change up some of your proficiencies.
But if you wind up going with the soul knife, then maybe they'll give you access to acrobatics or something.
Or stealth.
Yeah,
because they're very ninja.
They did hint at the other orders as well.
Oh, absolutely. They've talked that this is the way that they're going to produce other psionic abilities.
And as far as the okay, so I'm the psychic warrior type. This is the suite of abilities you get for that. I don't like that nearly as much as the Scion one. I feel like they feels a little more flavorful. Because, I mean, really, it's like you get the shield, you get the sword. The concentration thing is okay. I don't think it's going to be as much of a big deal as it sounds like. But what I really like is the disciplines.
The disciplines are pretty awesome.
And the way that, like, all the disciplines give you... Just by concentrating on it, it gives you a power.
Like a passive sort of ability or whatever.
Yeah, I believe that's as a bonus action.
No, some of them, like,
So
like, all right, conquering mind. Concentration. While concentrating on this discipline, you have advantage on charisma checks.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, all of them are... While you're concentrating on it...
Something happens.
You get something.
Third eye, you have blind sight with a radius of 30 feet.
Which is really cool.
That's fabulous. It's like, no one's sneaking up on you.
Yeah.
And they all have something that's like celerity, concentration on this discipline. Your speed increases by 5 feet, and you have advantage on initiative checks. Well, holy crap!
That's crazy. That is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know. As soon as I saw that...
Rogue Assassin, man.
As soon as I saw that, I thought Wood Elf.
Yeah. Wood Elf, Rogue Assassin.
With the mobile feet. So, so you can move it like 50 feet around. Maybe a level of monk or barbarian, some monk or level, barbarian levels.
And of course you can't talk about this without seeing that the immortal is definitely a nod to your Jedi.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
you can make your weapon a lightsaber.
You want to play a Jedi psionic weapon while concentrating on this discipline. You charge your enemy, or you charge one weapon you carry with psionic energy. It counts as a +1 weapon. You can add the ethereal property. You can add lethal. You go crazy with your points.
You can turn it into a lightsaber.
You can make it a laser weapon.
Yeah,
an energy weapon, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like I really like the passes on the what is that order? What's the psionic order?
The stick.
Order
Awakened
Awakened Mind. Yeah, you get mind thrust. You get telepathy basically.
Like definitely, like it feels like the Order of the Awakened is like I'm gonna make your head explode sort of deal. Scanners,
Oh, yeah. And the thing that they made sure they did, the Awakened Mind gives you telepathy out to 100 feet. As opposed to the Warlock ability, which only goes out to like 30.
Well, yeah. I was thinking of the synergy there, like how they're kind of the same, but yeah, you're right. It is better. What if it'd been funny if they did like 35?
Like running towards somebody so you can think at them hard.
Yeah.
Like, I need to tell you something.
Look, listen, buddy.
And I can't shout.
When I was reading that, my brain went immediately to that. I'm like, well, they made sure that the psionics is better.
Yeah, well, that's always a plus. So personally, I'm intrigued. I want to see more of what they do with psionics. I like this approach. I like that it feels different than any of the other classes.
Absolutely.
And I feel like they captured the flavor of what psionics is.
I think so.
So that makes me happy.
I got one question for you though, guys. What do you feel about this section here where it says psionics originates as an otherworldly power?
Yes, I meant to bring that up because when I saw that,
Like a Cthulhian sort of thing, perhaps?
Yes. Far Realm. They're
Far Realm.
The whole idea of psionics actually originated from the Far Realm, and basically,
if you're psionic, you've been touched
implanted.
in some way. You've been touched in some way, shape, or form
by a tentacle,
by the power of the Far Realm,
by a tentacle.
Now, do I want that as the explanation of all psionics? Not really, but I felt it was an
depends
interesting
on the world.
twist.
It depends on the world, really. Because, like in Eberron, that was a lot of what was happening with the bit of psionics that were in there. It was from another world, part of Zoriat, I believe. Right? Was that the?
Well, Zoriat's the realm of madness, and there's definitely the bleed over. But no, like in Eberron, it was different. It was like they had the dreaming dark thing, and it was like it was otherworldly. It was just a different otherworldly.
Different, yeah, that's true. All right, but.
So now, I guess now we have this. Now we have the big elephant in the room. Nate, you've been working on psionics for a long time.
Yeah.
How does it compare?
One of my issues with this version of psionics is I'm a big psionics is wisdom kind of guy and willpower, and I don't really think that the intellect stuff fits.
They've always had it wrong, Wizards of the Coast. Had it wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Nerdarchy just had a big infight over this before we even started the video. Me and Ted are like, yeah, Psionics is logic and learning, and it's a skill that you pick up and you develop over time.
And I think
Nate's
it's
like,
force of will,
sheer willpower.
force of will, willpower, and like intuitive understanding, which is not.
See, now
Which is
I
not
think
intellect and book learning.
I
so.
think your intellect, you use your intellect to actually direct your willpower. Therefore, the willpower is the hammer, but your intellect is the hand that wields it.
And I would say that the D&D system is an inefficient mechanism for having this philosophical discussion. And that willpower and wisdom and clerics go along together.
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb
and
here.
Intelligence is wizards and book learning and remembering facts and memorization and other such nonsense.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say
is
that
not psionics.
Nate is not trying to bash D&D. He's just saying that in this...
He's absolutely bashing D&D.
this-
That's
for
what
this-
I heard.
I'm simply
this
saying
conversation.
it's an inefficient stat mechanism for discussing
Deeper
what
philosophical
real willpower is, like, and that kind of thing. So
All the scientists I know, they learned it right from a book. That's how they bend the spoons and everything.
Well,
There's like a
okay.
picture of a spoon bending.
all right. And just reading the book and memorizing the book is what allowed them to have such power,
Yes.
like a wizard.
Yes.
So they're wizardly in their spoon bending power,
Yes.
almost as if they're casting a spell.
No. Because there's no spell components, and they don't have to do this.
I think it's a spoon, and don't they go like, and
That's optional.
bend it on a chair? Or
That's
something?
optional. +1 circumstance bonus.
Oh,
We don't
okay.
use those anyway.
Whenever you do that.
I'll
Yeah.
have to try and get my spell pouch to be optional sometime. See if that works out.
It is optional. You just need to use arcane focus.
Oh, okay, which could be. Yeah, so that's just my gripe is that I really wanted to see it be more willpower and wisdom based. And
So
not,
that's
and
one
not
thing-
another sliver of wizardry. So
So that's one thing that can be fought out in the comments below. People can argue back and forth on the wisdom versus intelligence.
Clerics and druids, they get their wisdom. You got warlocks and sorcerers that get to use charisma. So now you've got mystics and wizards that get to use intelligence.
and that would be the very reason I wouldn't even bring up that because that's like, oh, now we've got 2 of each. That's nonsense.
It's like the Noah's Ark of
yeah, is this the Noah's Ark of
How
RPG spellcasters?
dare we balance the scales?
Yeah, that's like that's the same thing. Like when I was working on psionic stuff, I was like, yeah, this ability is pretty much like the barbarian ability, but I think it really fits. So I use the barbarian ability. Why would I make up? It's like making up something new, just because. Now I like the new things they made up, and I thought they were appropriate, but it's just like one more intelligence using spellcaster because we can't have 3 wisdom and 1 intelligence guy. It's like, come on. I mean, that's probably not. I'm going to say that's not the rationale, but if it is, I'm bad. I'm going to assume it isn't, but if it is, I'm annoyed.
Well, they broke it with Favorite Soul. Favorite Soul is technically a new class, even though it falls under
But they only
scouted
did that-
out of the sorcerer.
That was only like an experimental thing. Like they.
So is this.
Oh yeah, it's all. It's all.
Psionics
experimental.
always gets the experimental shaft as far as I'm concerned.
Unearthed Arcana is all experimental.
Yeah. Spell.
Not
They
written in
couldn't-
ink, it
they
says.
couldn't have just put it in the. They couldn't have put it in the 12 classes.
All right, so as Ryan says, go ahead and put your debate below over the intelligence versus wisdom for the prime stat on the Scion.
And let us know
or
what
the
you
Mystic. What do you guys think of it? Is it thumbs up, thumbs down? While you're doing that, feel free to click like, share, even subscribe.
You can hang out with us over on nerdarchy.com.
Or check us out over on Twitter @Nerdarchy.
And we'll definitely have a conversation about this over on Reddit.
So
sure.
until next time,
Stay
Stay
nerdy.
nerdy.